Guys, here we've got none other than my roommate, Leo Fahey. He's also a student at Suffolk. And what year are you, Leo?
I'm going into my junior year now.
And what exactly are you studying?
I'm studying government with a concentration in international relations.
Fancy. What made you choose government?
Well, I've always had a sort of fascination by the bureaucracy of government. I always felt like it was inefficient in a way, and my grandparents sort of raised me, and they always they're the kind of people that are self-reliant, hate the government kind of people. So I figured I'd go into government to try and change their minds.
That's a very noble cause there. I can definitely relate. I know a lot of people like that who they don't believe in the government, and hopefully if we have more people like you in the future, we'll have a better government. So with that being said, why choose Suffolk for that?
Well, I had to choose between 3 cities for government. I think there's only really 3 cities that matter: Boston, New York, and Washington, D.C. I didn't feel like going to D.C. because it's a bit far for me. I'm from Massachusetts. I went to New York and I just felt out of place there. But Suffolk really felt accommodating, It's right downtown, but it doesn't feel like you're trapped there. It doesn't feel like you're overwhelmed at all. Not to mention all the federal buildings are right there outside of Suffolk. Pretty much all of my internships have been within a 10-minute walk of Suffolk's main building, 73 Tremont. And honestly, their government department is fantastic. That's another reason I chose to go there.
And with that being said, now with Suffolk, what would you say have been some positive experiences for you?
Well, I do think that the community is a really positive experience. As an international relations major, I'm more interested in other governments and different cultures and how they impact U.S. relations, and sort of learning their guides to try and emulate them, what works and what doesn't in U.S. government. The international community at Suffolk has really helped me understand other countries better, and it's also gave me a lot of friends over the way.
And you see yourself using this international community and Suffolk's teachings of international politics and whatnot to help you out in your political career in the future?
Yeah, I've made plenty of friends that are sort of in the same boat as me, where they want to, try and go into local government or, state government, where they're more focused on emulating what works in different countries and stuff. And I do feel like the education that I'm getting at Suffolk is more of a worldview rather than just a state-centric view.
And when you're not studying world relations and politics at Suffolk, what else do you find that Suffolk provides you in terms of downtime and extracurriculars?
Well, right now I'm a part of the radio club. I've written an article or 2 for the Suffolk Journal, and I've also participated in the videography club. I do feel like Suffolk has a lot of extracurriculars. I do think that the ability that you can, if you only have 5 people, that you can start a club, I do think that that's a big goal. And I do think that Suffolk really tries to give back to its students rather than just put the money back into their paychecks.
With that being said, though, here comes the ugly side, really. What would you say are some downsides of Suffolk?
I do think that the government major is kind of just Suffolk's focus. I talk to a lot of people with different majors, and they feel like if they're not a government major, they're sort of pushed to the side. I do think that Suffolk can do a lot more as far as its bureaucracy. I mean, just the fact that we just got a president after 6 years really shows that Suffolk kind of takes a while to get to do things. But overall, I do think that Suffolk's a good institution, and I really enjoy being there.
And the last thing I've got to ask you is, for freshmen coming on to Suffolk, what advice would you have for them?
I would say try and get involved with as many clubs as you can, but don't get overwhelmed. In my freshman year, I was really overwhelmed with the amount of coursework and clubs that I was in, which caused me to dip out of both of them. So I would say try and pick 1 or 2 clubs that are your favorite, and try and stick with those through all 4 years.
All right, well, thank you so much, Matt. I wish you the best of luck in changing the world and becoming the next president. Thanks, man.